Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders falling completely out of the first round. Now, again, while I record this, the second round hasn't started, so I don't know if he gets picked in the second round. I don't know when he gets picked. But Shedeur, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, was a projected top 3 pick. So in 2 to 3 weeks, you go from a top 3 pick to getting completely out the second round. Now, a lot of people want an explanation as to why. And obviously, outside of, you don't know. It's like, I look at teams. 2 teams in particular that I'm looking at is the Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 teams that have been searching for relevancy at the quarterback position for years now. I understand that the Giants just got Jameis Winston, and they also just got Russell Wilson, but neither one of them is the future of the franchise. Russell Wilson is more obviously the right now, but none of them is the future of the franchise. So you'd think someone like a Shedeur Sanders who can learn under a possible future Hall of Famer, let me say this, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer in Russell Wilson and a extensive journeyman in Jameis Winston, you'd think that they would get someone with the same skill set as those or as those 2 in Shedeur Sanders. With the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, is the most egregious one. We saw what just happened a year ago. We've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they look like since Big Ben retired. And you have the fortune of having a projected top 3 pick fall all the way to 21. And you know your team needs a quarterback. You just invested heavily on the offense when we talk about getting DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf isn't just a regular wide receiver. He is a wide receiver 1. Means that you have to essentially change your offense to accommodate him. You let Najee Harris go. It is there for you to go and be smart. Get the quarterback of the future. Because right now, your quarterback 1 is Mason Rudolph. Now, people are saying them not drafting Shedeur has to mean that they know they're getting someone like Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. Cool. I'm not mad at that. But let me ask those people, is Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins, how do you think they're going to look in, let's say, 2 to 3 years? Do you think that Kirk Cousins is going to be worth whatever contract you give him in 2 to 3 years? Seeing as though he couldn't even last 2 to 3 years in Atlanta? Do you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the same Aaron Rodgers that you think is going to be able to take you to a Super Bowl in 2 to 3 years? Now, I'm not saying that neither would Shedeur. I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders is going to be that prolific quarterback in 2 to 3 years. But you know what it does for you? It gives you your quarterback of the future. Look, a lot of people are asking why Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted in the first round. A lot of people want to throw out racism. A lot of people want to throw out sabotage. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'll give you my opinion. My opinion is this. When you see a team like the Giants not only trade up, but to trade up and get a quarterback in Jackson Dart and not Shedeur Sanders, to me, that is it feels like you're trying to send a message. I think you're trying to send a message because you hear a lot of people say that. You hear a lot of people say, well, look at the tape. The tape is why Shedeur Sanders was not a first round pick. And then I would combat that with saying, well, that tape has been the same since the end of the season. The same tape you're asking people to look at is the same tape that had him as a top 3 projected pick. Now, I don't know anything about Mel Kiper. I don't know anything about Justin or Field Yates. I don't know anything about any of these mock draft people. But one thing that I do know is they're pretty much locked in. They have connects. They have people that know they have people in the industry that probably hit their phone daily, that probably gives them a good understanding that you don't go as bad as, okay, this player is going to go from a top 3 pick to not even in the first round. So something had to have happened in a span of 2 to 3 weeks, because the same people that are saying, hey, look at the tape, that same tape had him top 3. Which brings me to my opinion. To a certain extent, not all the way, because it's a different situation, but to a certain extent, I think they view Shedeur Sanders kind of the same way they view Cam Newton. In a sense of, you heard Dan Patrick say it, and you've heard insiders in the NFL say one of the biggest reasons why Cam Newton's career essentially ended the way that it ended, in a sense of teams didn't even want him to be a backup quarterback, is because of his fame, his celebrity, his stature. They were saying that he was too popular. He was too much of a personality to be a backup. Because as soon as the starting quarterback would mess up, as soon as the starting quarterback may have a bad game, reporters, everyone would turn and ask, well, when is Cam going to start? Which can be a locker room killer. So teams were like, you know what? He's already kind of diminished when we talk about, injuries kind of hitting his body and his age. We're just not going to take a flyer on him. Do I think that was wrong? Probably, but that's what teams were saying. When you look at Shedeur, you see, him and Dion. You see the fanfare that his presence brought Colorado. You see the jewelry. You see everything. You see the fact that, he didn't participate in the combine. He didn't participate, he didn't throw as senior. He didn't do none of that. And I'm not saying that's a problem. You know who else didn't do that? Jaden Daniels. You see how that turned out. But I don't think I said this before, and it's not just there is a little bit of racism in it, but teams do not like confidence. For some reason, teams do not like confidence from certain players. They want you, in my opinion, their confidence is a deterrent for a lot of people. And Shedeur, look, I tweeted, it looked like it was intentional. And then I have people coming at me saying, did you turn on the tape? Again, this is the same tape that had him a top 3 projected. This is the same tape that got him to where, like, what? Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.